Hiya, you're live on the #1 independent news channel. Dan Wootton Outspoken. Just wondered why you're here when you
Oh my gosh, running
Tommy.
like cowards. Look.
I just wondered, you won't feature Tommy, so why are you covering it? Why won't you feature Tommy Robinson on GB News?
He's not here.
Oh, no, I know, but you don't feature him, Ben Habib or Rupert Lowe?
It's not a decision for me to make. I'm sorry.
Okay. And so are you giving full narrative coverage today?
It's interesting, man. Thank you.
Now, something really disgusting happened after that. The GB News camera woman decided to attack my producer physically, punching him in the ribs after the verdict was announced and calling him a fucking prick. Another clear descent into the gutter by the people. Show trial. Or being totally honest, a deep state witch hunt that disgraced Britain. But because Tommy Robinson, the enemy of the regime media, was at the heart of it, there has been virtual silence in the MSM about the shocking circumstances of a law-abiding citizen journalist being pulled over at the border last August for absolutely no reason, demanded to hand over his phone and PIN number, even though said phone is filled with confidential evidence about the Pakistani Muslim rape gangs and the police complicity. And when he refused, finding himself on trial for goddamn terrorism. Yes, terrorism. At a time when our police are still trying to tell us that the Huntingdon train attack, where 10 innocent Brits were slaughtered in a stabbing rampage, isn't terror. To make it make sense. But despite the government and cops believing this was finally the moment that they could forevermore brand Tommy a terrorist, the judge Sam Guzzi had other ideas, making clear the prosecution's case was politically motivated. As Ezra Levant, the brilliant Ezra Levant of Rebel News, reported from inside the court, the missing information from the police meant their claims lacked credibility, according to the judge. Tommy was targeted, according to the judge, because of what he stood for, his political views, and there was no evidence at all to suspect terrorism. Watch as Tommy's acquittal was announced, first in the jubilant independent media, including here on Outspoken, then to a disappointed MSM. Court, the judge says, in light of my findings, the decision to stop you was not lawful. The judge tells Tommy to stand, says he is acquitted. The public gallery chairs, the regime media look very glum. So breaking right now, Tommy Robinson not guilty on terror charges. The state's case against him, the police's case against him, has completely collapsed.
Ezra Levant here for Rebel News. I'm standing outside Westminster Magistrates Court. Huge news today. Tommy Robinson acquitted of charges under the Terrorism Act. The judge blistering in his criticism of the police, saying they lacked credibility and their testimony could not be relied on.
Far-right activist Tommy Robinson is cleared of a terror-related offence after being accused of not giving police access to his phone.
Breaking news to bring you now, just hearing that Tommy Robinson, real name Stephen Yaxley Lennon, has been found not guilty of a terror offence over refusing to give police access to his phone during a border stop.
Tommy Robinson addressing some of his supporters just behind me as he's talking to crowds after this verdict that he was found not guilty under this terrorism offence when he was stopped at the Channel Tunnel.
But of course, GB News didn't try and speak to Tommy themselves. He's banned, and I'm going to get to that very shortly. But remember, there is an astonishing fact here that the world's richest man, Elon Musk, has had to intervene financially once again to try and protect free speech in our disunited kingdom. He posted after the not guilty verdict to Tommy directly, "Thank you for raising the flag of England whilst so many cowards cowered." And Advance UK leader Ben Habib, the only major political leader to weigh in, writing, of course, the court threw out the case against Tommy Robinson. There was no case to answer. He is not a terrorist. He was politically targeted again. A politicised criminal justice system. And what was interesting is that upon leaving court, Tommy wasn't relieved or upset. He was furious. furious at the latest ordeal he's been put through by a British government intent on locking him.
It's been found that the police discriminated against me based on my belief and my political beliefs. Now, my grievance now, well, not my grievance, first of all, thank you, Elon Musk. Thank you, Elon Musk, because if it wasn't for Elon Musk, why is it taken an American businessman to fight for our justice here and our fight against terrorism charges for journalists? Now, over there in a minute, it's going to come the journalists, the mainstream media. Go back now. If you want to see if you can trust the media, go back now and read read what they said about this trial. When I was on trial, read what they said. Read the headlines, read the news that they give out, and then read the judge's judgment. Right? Because all those journalists sat on that trial, they knew the police acted unlawfully, they knew they acted illegally, they admitted it in court, and none of the journalists told you that. None of them. They were hoping they had another bench judge that would rule against me. And then you, the public, would know nothing. That judge's verdict is a slam down against the police. An absolute... read what he says, yeah? Read what he says. Read about their evidence. It was corrupt. It was unlawful. For me, I'm frustrated still. I should be happy. I'm not happy because I shouldn't be put through this time and time again. I walked out of this court last year at a cost of £53,000 with a not guilty. I've just walked out again. This is nearly £100,000 been spent on this case. What for? And my main thing is the mainstream media sat through this whole trial. They knew all the unlawful practices in this trial, and yet they didn't report one of them. They hid it from you. They hid it from you. I'm so glad that judge has given such a powerful judgment now that says it how it was. I was targeted because of my political beliefs. To say that out loud, the government, on behalf of the government, counter-terrorism targeted me to try and get access to my phone as a journalist. Where's the outrage from the mainstream media in this? They were trying to get my access to my work that I do and my investigations that I do as a journalist. That is a corrupt state. That's what it is.
Tommy,
it's frustrating. I should be happy. I'm not. I should be happy, shouldn't I?
Congratulations.
Yeah. And what was most shocking to him is that even today, the MSM did not report accurately on the case.
I'm a trial, yeah? Listening to that verdict, not one single journalist who sat on my trial reported any of the unlawful stuff. Shush. Not one of you journalists. So you sat there. Who was you reporting for?
I'm about to report on your not guilty verdict.
Okay, sure.
I'll go ahead and do that.
No, but can I ask you who you're reporting for? Who you're reporting for? No, can I ask who you're reporting for? This is a normal environment for me. This is what you do to me. So can I ask who you're reporting for?
I am not about to report on your not guilty verdict in this environment.
No, I'm not on about that. I'm on about when you sat on trial, because you sat on the trial, you kept rolling your eyes all the time, like that. You sat on the trial. Not one single journalist who sat on that trial. Stop pushing me. Stop pushing me. Not one single journalist who sat on that trial reported one single thing that the judge found them. Why not? Why not?
I just can't report on your not guilty verdict if this is the environment
you're not
that I'm being
No,
put
you're not
under.
listening. No, you're not listening. The environment I was put under, we sat on a trial, yeah, where all you mainstream media, you sat and listened to the evidence, which is what made his verdict on today, and listened to what the judge has... Can you please stop?
Yeah.
The police is saying... I don't care. Shut up, man. Just shush. Right, so how...
The fucking woman in here. I'm not doing nothing, mate.
It doesn't matter. How come not one of you reported any of the stuff the judge found today? During the trial, I'm going to talk about. You made it about a car, you made it about money, you made it about me, you made it about far right.
As I've said,
Yeah.
I am here about to report on your not
'Cause you have
guilty verdict.
Yes.
Now, what's astonishing is that she wouldn't even tell Tommy Robinson who she was reporting for. Well, our Lauren Lunn Farrow has done some digging, and it appears to be this woman, Helen Hoddenett. Not surprisingly, a reporter for the hard-left LBC who was previously with the British Bashing Corporation. But it's just so depressing that other journalists are too committed to their boss's hatred to reveal the very real threat to free speech that could end up curtailing them in the end too.
Why didn't you report one of the single facts that come out today?
I actually don't think you know what my reporting included, so I don't think you can accurately accuse
I did.
me.
I searched the internet. I searched the internet after my trial, and I found that not one person found that, because the police officer admitted he acted unlawfully. The police officer admitted he detained me after 34 seconds. Not one of you reported it. I'm confused. Why not? I'm frustrated by it, if I'm honest. I'm frustrated by the mainstream media's
You
reporting on this
cannot
case.
accurately make that accusation of me.
Okay, who did you report for?
As I say, I'm going to try and report your not guilty verdict.
Yeah.
but I cannot do that. If
Why
you put me in
why
this
didn't you report
situation.
when you sat in court for 2 days? Why didn't you report what happened in court to your audiences? Why didn't you report what happened in court to your audiences? Why didn't you report the truth of what happened in court? Because all you report, no, you didn't report about cars and money. Why didn't you report about all the stuff the judge was about? Because that all happened in court. You didn't report any of it.
You have no accurate information about what my report
Yes, I do.
included.
Okay, you didn't report 4 seconds.
I did.
No, you didn't.
I did.
No, you didn't. Who did you report for?
Look, this is a very intimidating environment that you're putting me in.
Why is it intimidating? I'm asking you questions. This is what I get everywhere I go.
Surrounded by
Everyone acting calmly. Of cameras, they're all journalists.
The same that happens to Tommy every time.
You have me physically cornered.
No, it's not.
And making accusations. And you are making accusations are not accurate. So of course, this is
None of you reported anything that happened. So you're going to have to report that verdict now.
intimidating environment that you're putting me under.
Right, Dan.
Go and see your girls.
Dan. So there we just had it. I don't know how much of that you got.
Oh, we got it all. We got it all. But my former employer, GB News, continues to disgrace itself with its ban on Tommy Robinson, but not just Tommy Robinson, Ben Habib, Rupert Lowe, Katie Hopkins, many more patriots. And today they didn't even bother to show up to listen to the judge's full verdict, prompting Lauren Lunn Farrow to track them down. Really shocking that their journalists didn't even bother to get to court on time. Professor Norman Fenton, who was inside the courtroom, posted on X, "I couldn't believe when I saw an accredited journalist walk in 30 minutes after the judge was reading out his ruling. Even more shocking that it was the GB News reporter." Now, Lauren eventually found that latecomer. To be honest, finding a doctor who isn't just parroting big pharma talking points, practically impossible these days. But one bold Texas doctor of physical therapy is cutting through the nonsense, revealing 7 powerful reasons why anyone over 50 should be drinking this one overlooked thing daily. I know it's not milk, not some chalky calcium shake either, don't worry. It's a unique protein your body stops producing as you age, yet it's been shown to dramatically boost bone density, soothe joint pain, and even smooth out wrinkles and cellulite. Users are also seeing thicker hair, stronger nails, and faster results than you'd expect, some in just 2 weeks. And get this, over 5 million jars sold, more than 8,000 5-star reviews, and a 365-day money-back guarantee. That is confidence. So for my listeners, you can get up to 45% off this formula, plus free shipping right now. Just head to TryNativePath.
A food industry that knows nothing about health, and a health industry that knows nothing about food, right? And once you really understand that, you can see why we're in the problems that we are. We watch TV and they're feeding us all these foods that are refined and processed and get us sick. And the next commercial is a commercial about a pill that we're supposed to take. The forefront of what we do here at Native Path is we try to get people off the path of what most people are doing is eating that stuff and taking those pills and get them on the path to eating, moving, and living in harmony with their biology. Collagen is, in my opinion, it's the one thing that if you take it, everything else starts to get easier or unnecessary because it's so foundational in the structure of your body. We're deficient in this very important protein that our ancestors got plenty of. So it's a big part of what I say is important when we're aging. You have to have this as part of your diet.
Again, that's trynativepath.com/outspoken. No fluff, just results. Go see what the hype's about. And to watch my full, fascinating interview with the doctor, click on the link in the description box below. But now, back.
TV or GB News?
GB News.
Okay, and so you're reporting today. Why won't you feature Tommy Robinson on GB News?
He's not here.
Oh, no, I know, but you don't feature him, Ben Habib or Rupert Lowe?
It's not a decision for me to make. I'm sorry.
Okay, and so are you giving full narrative coverage today?
It's interesting, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, are you giving full narrative coverage today on Tommy Robinson?
We're covering the court case.
No, but are you giving full narrative, a full breakdown of exactly what was said inside the courtroom?
We're giving the coverage of this.
Okay, well, there we have it.
Now, something really disgusting happened after that. The GB News camera woman decided to attack my producer physically, punching him in the ribs after the verdict was announced and calling him a fucking prick. Another clear descent into the gutter by the People's Channel. That's what they call themselves. Tommy also called out their star presenter Nigel Farage after the verdict for this comment.
No, Tommy Robinson's been right about many things. He's just not the company that I choose to keep. And even after that, we got, Robinson's been arrested using terrorism laws, isn't there? And then we discover, no, actually, he wasn't arrested in London. He was arrested at the port of Dover, and it's something to do with a passport issue. And, listen, he has had some things very right over the years. It's just, he's not for me.
Tommy asked, will we please now correct this, Nigel Farage, question mark. Now that I've been found not guilty, can you now accept that I was targeted for my political beliefs like the judge found? You should have spoken up, but didn't. Instead, you lied. Why? He also wondered what happens to the counter-terrorism officers who unlawfully targeted me. But even though it is a win today, Tommy understands this is just a temporary reprieve in an ongoing war, as he told Al Lauren on the way to court.
But when we were in there, Tommy, as well, we saw the censorship of key details from the mainstream media.
The mainstream media didn't report anything, which is why it's so important we had our own media there. They reported what they took from what happened in court, and then the headlines they went with was insane. The police admitted that it was unlawful. They admitted it in the doc. So I just hope today I walk in there, I get not guilty, it restores a bit of our faith, but also tells the public and tells the country that the police have been unlawfully used, or the government have been using the police as a weapon to harass and persecute us.
I mean, today we will see, are the Fabians at large, or as citizens, will we all get a fair trial if we face the same thing as you?
The Fabians are at large. There is no fair trial in Great Britain. That's it. So just don't confuse yourself. This may be a decision where it's not worth them exposing themselves enough because it's a 3-month sentence.
Yeah.
It may not be worth it enough for them, so we'll see. But the Fabians are at large.
They want you behind bars or gone.
They want everyone who speaks out against them behind bars or gone.
Yeah,
not
correct.
Just me. They want every citizen journalist gone. They're trying to work out now a way how they can rein the citizen journalism back in. They're trying to work that out now. They're looking at what's happening, thinking, how do we stop this? How do we stop it? So they'll bring in laws. They'll bring in more things to control the new media. This is a battle. It's a battle of the new media against the old media. The old media lie and work on behalf of the government, and the new media work on behalf of the people.
Yeah. But nothing can stop the truth, Tommy, and there are millions of people.
Let's hope the truth comes out today. And I'll walk out of here in a couple of hours.
Definitely.
But it's not over. Tommy added after the verdict, let me remind you all that I have another trial in October 2026 that is even more insane than this case. I face 10 years in prison for the next offence. It's all lawfare. It's targeted harassment. Even if you win, then the process is the punishment we fight on. We do have to celebrate the wins, though. And I have to say, boy, oh boy, the Patriots at court outdid themselves today.
You could be deemed as a right-wing terrorist for carrying this flag. How do you feel about that?
Fuck them. This is our country.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And what do you think of Keir Starmer?
Keir Starmer is just a fucking wanker.
Well, and to be honest, I think that gentleman sums up the mood of the nation, really.
And as Tommy walked away exhausted but a free man, he had this message for outspoken viewers.
Although we won today, they banned citizen journalists in our court case today. They prevented citizen journalists reporting on today's case.
That's true. So, Dan, the fight continues.
Oh, yes, it does. The fight absolutely continues. Now, the superstar panel. Social commentator Leilani Dowding and legal expert and freedom fighter Elizabeth Fox, both with me. So, Leilani, the verdict is a good one, but what I think is most disturbing is the fact that this complete witch hunt was allowed to get to this point. The government backed it. The police backed it. The MSM never questioned it.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Tommy says, the process is the punishment, Dan. I'm not surprised he's frustrated. I heard the news and I was absolutely ecstatic. I was so pleased. I was so pleased for him. But you know what? I also read the headlines and I didn't see what he just said there. And without you guys and this channel and that brilliant reporter, Lauren, speaking up, we wouldn't know. I didn't know that the judge had said that the police acted unlawfully. I didn't know the list of, everything that the judge has said that he off there. And this is crazy to me because the mainstream media really aren't reporting it. So the only way we're going to see, what the judge said is if we go trawling through and looking for the smaller independent journalists and on channels like these where we can hear exactly what the judge has said.
Obviously, Liz, you know all about lawfare and process being the punishment in terms of what still continues to be unleashed against your husband, Lawrence Fox. You've spent some time recently with Tommy. Is this taking a toll?
Absolutely, it's taken a toll. And you can see from when he came out from his sentence last time, the effect it's had on him, his mannerisms, his energy. It's horrific. But what is really, really, really good is that we have had acknowledgement today by a judge that this was politically motivated. And the mainstream media, like Leilani just said, she wasn't aware about the unlawful behavior from the police. She wasn't aware about the political motivation because it's not reported. And, imagine being Tommy, imagine being him and being so frustrated and wanting people to know the truth, yet everything that gets reported is a lie, well, twisted, but also isn't actually what's happening within the courtroom. It's not actually what has been done to him. He's being made out to be the villain in the mainstream media, but actually in this case the police were wrong. He's an independent journalist. He has the right to say no to access to his mobile phone and to his resources. He has the right to say that.
Totally. And the thing is, the judge totally tore to pieces the police and the prosecution, which, remember, is the government case. But the shocking thing is, Leilani, we're not seeing that in the mainstream media reporting of this. They just want to move on. They report the verdict. They don't make a big deal out of it. They move on. Whereas, if Tommy Robinson had been found guilty, this would be leading every single bulletin in the country. And then we come to GB News, Leilani, and they don't even bother to show up for the start of the judge's remarks. They don't even bother to show up. And of course, they don't even try and attempt to speak to Tommy because Tommy remains on their banned list.
Well, this is it, isn't it? It's not really the People's Channel, is it? If they can't report exactly what's going on. And I think judges' remarks are so important. They absolutely should have been covered, especially the way the judge laid into the entire system. That should have been covered. That should have been part of the headlines. Police act unlawfully and hear it from the horse's mouth, because they have to kind of keep their little narrative together.
Well, of course.
And
sorry,
the costs,
Leilani.
Stan, the costs, the amount he's had to pay. And if he didn't have
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk and the amount of crowdfunding to be able to fight this, which is what we're seeing from a lot of the other people that have been politically locked up. Wayne O'Rourke, for example, he's been let out of jail, but he's not allowed to speak, and he doesn't have the money to get a great solicitor to fight these conditions. He's not allowed to do interviews. So the fact that this is all going on, the fact that citizen journalists were banned from the courtroom, it still shows a lot about, the corruption that's going on here.
Absolutely. And where we are at. I mean, I find it chilling. I find it terrifying. It, of course, is not the last case either. There's more for him to fight. And for the deep state, they can just say, well, on to the next. We lost this one, but on to the next. But I think, Lizzie, one of the shocking things is to see the fact that Nigel Farage brought into the mainstream media narrative to use this terror charge as a reason not to support Tommy Robinson, I feel like saying to Nigel, be careful. Remember, they want to stop you as well. They want to stop you being Prime Minister. So what if it's you next, Nigel, who's stopped at the border and your phone is demanded? And look, this type of lawfare is commonplace. We've seen it happen with Marine Le Pen in France. And so it's so sad to me, Lizzie, that the right cannot unite about issues which are so fundamentally important because they're too worried about preserving their own power and appeasing the weak and wet mainstream media.
That's 100% what it is. The obsession with not associating with Tommy, whether you agree with him politically or not, you have to understand he's a human being. He has been mentally, emotionally, financially affected by this, and this could be any one of us at any point. It could be Nigel. It could be another journalist. It could be the journalist that was standing there that was making out she was intimidated and that he was, she was the victim and he was making her feel uncomfortable. It could be her. It could be anyone, but they don't realise it. They don't realise that they are pushing him away and they are not wanting to associate because they don't think it looks good for their image. And yet, at any point, the system could turn on.